Hey guys, do me a favor and watch this video.
Committed relationships generally don't happen if men are just left to their own devices. Most men are totally fine keeping things casual indefinitely. This is because, as I talked about in my episode, Men Treat Women the Way Women Treat Money, we already had to work really hard just to get sexually selected. So we want to enjoy our time, not take on a second job. Most men don't have relationship goals like women do. That's because the goal of most men is to get laid. This is because the vast majority of men are incredibly hungry for sex, and they would be absolutely ravenous if they weren't anesthetizing themselves with pornography. When people are starving, all they think about is food. They're not really interested in what happens after dinner. Now, women, you might be disgusted by this. You might think, oh, if I just want sex, go somewhere else. But it's like, that's actually, men are so easy to get into relationships with because of that. That's where they're so vulnerable. That's what I'd like you to consider, is that this is an opportunity for you. It's not something that should be considered beneath you.
Telling women to exploit this emotional weakness of men is not something you should be telling women, because women already do this. There's no scarcity of women that are out there using sex to enter relationships and take advantage of the men in those relationships, making the men offer way more than women ever offered, all for the price of some stale vagina. Also, the reason that men are extremely horny and always trying to fuck is because not only do men like sex naturally, there has been a concerted effort to manipulate and enslave men mentally and culturally by overstimulating men with sexual graphic material from a very, very, very young age. And that is all over the media, all over the music channels, and is ever growing. And not even lightly, exponentially. It's growing so much exponentially than it would on a number of circumstances. So this has both sexualized men and sexualized women. It's mostly a cultural thing. Because yes, men love sex. But also men, at some point, used to have self-control. And still do if they're willing to exercise self-control. Now, you said, don't be like, ugh, this beneath me. No, when you're talking to women. Well, women are always going to be like, ugh, this beneath me. Why would I want to be with a guy that's always thinking of sex? And the reason why is because they should feel somewhat disgusted. Because any man that is self-confident, that has self-respect, that's expecting more than just sexual gratification from his woman, is not going to put himself in situations whereby he devalues himself for just sexual gratification, like many men do. And many men do this. Many men enter into abusive relationships with women that are obviously crazy, like Destiny, for instance, because they want sexual access, or because they are falling in love with this idea that a woman that is sexually available or sexually endowed is the price. She has to do nothing for me. Maybe talk to me once in a while and tell me, hey, how are you doing, once in a while. But apart from that, just the punani and just some fun experience and vibes. And because of this lack of expectation on men's part when it comes to real relationships, women are obviously disgusted that this man are only thinking of sex. Because if you notice what women say, they say things like, I just want a man to like me for how I think and for what I can offer. Yes, men should like you for how you think and what you can offer. Meaning a man should put you to work the same way you put men to work. Now, as much as women don't want to hear this is what women will respect. That's why when women see men that are doing anything for some pussy, please, I need pussy, please, they get disgusted. Why? Because they see him as weak, having no boundaries, having no self-value, and no self-worth. But when they see a man that will only pay attention to them when they say something reasonable, when women see that and see that they can't just go ahead and twerk in front of you, and then you give them access to your house and your car, they're going to respect you compared to a man that's always trying to get some punani. And that's why he's thinking about, I need pussy, please, I need pussy, please. Women are going to look at you like, what the fuck is wrong with this motherfucker? It's so worthless. He has no self-value. He's prepared to throw his life away for some useless vagina. Because women know the vagina, overall, when it comes to the economical impact, is mostly useless. Mostly. Just like dick, when it comes to economical impact, is mostly useless as well. Women know this. So women subconsciously feel mad and angry when they see a man waste potential and waste time he could be using to work on himself because he wants to throw everything away to the wind in order to get some stale vagina, some piece of skin with lubricant in between. Women get mad at those kind of guys. That this guy has no self-worth. He has no self-value. And they're going to treat you that way. When you go into a relationship with them, they will treat you like shit. They will nag you, they will talk shit about you, and they will expect you to do everything and to just offer you vagina. That's it. Because to them, you already knew what you were getting yourself into. You knew that they were not going to do anything for you. You spent lavishly on them just because you wanted to get them in your presence. So of course they're going to feel entitled. Of course the narcissism is going to be extremely high. Of course they're going to look at you as a slave, as a boy that should do whatever you're told and not ask for anything back in return. So that is a weakness for men. That's a vulnerability for men, just like you pointed out. It's a vulnerability for men. And men should work on that vulnerability. And I wouldn't advise women to use that vulnerability as a way to get into relationships unless these women already know that they're going to contribute something in a relationship if they get into it. To me, this is how I look at it. It's okay if you want to use that sexual advantage you have as a woman to get into a relationship with a man. That's fine. But just make sure that when you get into a relationship with a man, you have to contribute. But if you are going to use that power to get in a relationship with a man, as most women do, and then expect the man to do A, B, C, D, and E for you, and you do nothing for him because he just wants a vagina, so that's all I'm giving him, then best you don't do that. But I'm not even focusing on the women right now. I'm focusing on the man now. The man them. Y'all should stop making yourself so fucking cheap, whereby you allow women to take not only sex from you that you're so willing to give up, but you take your resources, your hard work, and even the right for protection, and all they offer you is pussy that they themselves are so willing to give out to another stranger that is blowing their back out and doing none of these same things you're doing for them. This is not a red pill talking point. This is factual. Women will sleep with men that are strangers, mind you, have nothing to offer them, but are so attracted to this man, they will sleep with men for free and sometimes even pay for this man's company. But then they will come to your house, they're supposed to be in a long relationship with them, and they will charge you for their presence. And you stupidly pay to end up eating the vagina that some other nigga come inside. Some other nigga came inside the vagina and you're eating it and you're paying the bills as well. Maybe that's what you're into. I don't judge you. But just understand that doesn't make your case much any better from the perspective of being a valuable man or a man that knows his self-worth and self-value. That might be your sexual desire, but that's not going to help you in the long run. Now, he also talked about the idea that most men don't want to be in a long-committed relationship. Well, I will tell you why, as I've mentioned before. Most men that are horny just need women for sex. Unfortunately, that's the case. Why? Because these men understand that even if they were to get into a relationship with these women, let's assume that they have no choice and they had to get into a relationship with these women to get sex. And that's the only reason why they get into a relationship with these women. They know that these women are not willing at all to do anything for them past the idea of just occasionally giving pussy out. So these men already know that they're not really going to get much out of the relationship. So that's why they don't really want to be in this relationship in the first place. Because they understand and they're not really going to get much out of it. So that's why men are kind of skeptical of entering into a committed relationship, because they know that when their freedom is gone, they would have to keep working to please this woman and make sure this woman stays so they can have constant access to sexual activities with this woman. But they have to keep providing a bunch of resources. So if they could get sex without the need to commit, of course they would do that. And so would women as well if women were in men's shoes. If women could get access to sex easily without the need to commit, women would do that. The only reason why women need commitment is because they get way more for commitment than men do. Meaning they get exponentially more than they have to give men. So they look at it like, you mean I just have to give up sex? And I get but sex, resources, financial security, and possibly protection? Sign me up. But the moment men start demanding that women have to contribute their fair share, that's the moment two things happen. First of all, women will get more respect for men because men are not prepared to settle for women anymore. Number two, women will stop being too promiscuous with other men that they find attractive, while not giving the man that loves them or wants to be in a relationship with them the bare minimum. So the second thing is women will now realize that they have to contribute to the relationship, and they will contribute to the relationships past just punani. So that's why I said the most important thing men have to do, most of the problems that men face today has to do with the fact that they cannot control their dick. Now, you might say that comes naturally. I just do this naturally. I can't control it naturally. Cool. Learn how to control it. Because that's not an excuse. If it's a weakness that is ending you and making you do stupid things, learn how to control your fucking selves. Just like we all like to be lazy. We all love to sleep on the weekends and wake up and watch some YouTube videos and not go to work. But we have to go to work because we have to make money, because we have to keep our rents paid, and our bills paid. So reluctantly, we make it the nature of ourselves to be active and go out there and make money. If not, we just be slumbering at home doing nothing and wasting away. So just like we don't like to work hard, we have to work hard. Because if you don't work hard, you won't get any benefits. And just like you don't like to control your sexual desires, you have to control your sexual desires. Because if you don't, it will destroy you. These women will use their sexual desires against you very efficiently. Alright guys, that's all I gotta say about this vintage, and I'll see you guys later.